What is up, guys? Adrian Nickelodeon coming at you from Sydney, Australia, and today we're going to crank the horsepower on the Yamaha MT10 up to 170 horses. Check out the bridge, guys. This is the first time I've been over it since it flooded a couple of days ago. Oh, look at all the scaffolding. Oh, wowee. I'll show you guys what this bridge looked like 2 days ago. Actually, guys, I think this would be a better shot for comparison. I was standing here when the bridge was fully swollen. So just to give you guys a look at what it looks like now. Quite the crowd has assembled to check this out. Look at that, that's the new Windsor Bridge that they've just built. And the old one that we know and love is gone. Completely underwater. Look at that. Yeah, the river's come down a fair amount. This whole car park was underwater 2 days ago. I shit you not. I was standing just over there on that little viewing platform, and I'll show you what this looks like.
When the water came out of the dam last time, which was a couple of years ago, it was
Unbelievable. The whole river was just like so swollen. Highest it's been since I've lived here, and it's the highest it's been in 38 years apparently. Anyway, look, I want to show you guys something real quick and then we'll continue on with the video. I have here in this bag the tool that is going to give us 170 horses on this 2018 Yamaha MT10. So I went and picked this up the other night from a young fellow in Liverpool. So he had his bike tuned. So here we have the Power Commander 5 and all the associated cables and connections to hook it up to the bike. So this is literally plug and play. But what's special about this Power Commander is that not only did I get it for a super cheap price, I got it for like 250 bucks. And to get one of these set on the second-hand market, it's about 400, 450. But the added bonus is that the guy still has his tune loaded on here, and he got the tune done at S&R Pro, which are probably like in Sydney, they're like one of the top tuners. And like just to buy this thing for like 250 bucks, knowing that he spent 1500 bucks on the S&R Pro tune, I couldn't say no. I was going to get the ECU flashed. I was like literally days out of getting the ECU flashed, and I saw this come up. I messaged the guy, I spoke to him. He explained that he had the tune done on a MT10 with a Krapovich link pipe and a Krapovich muffler, which is exactly what I have on this bike. So the tune should be pretty much spot on. All right, let's get out of here, come back in a sec and we'll have a good look at this thing. I've got to get to the shops real quick. I'm buying Mrs. Nickelodeon some shortbread and some wine for Valentine's Day because I'm a hopeless romantic and they're probably her two favorite things. So I'm going to treat the lady tonight. Yo guys, so welcome back. We're in the garage now and we're about to fit the DynoJet Power Commander 5 to the Yamaha MT10. So I thought it'd be a little bit interesting just to do an intro on the bike. So I hope you guys appreciate that. If you do, give the video a thumbs up and I'll try and do more of that in the future. Anyway, so we've got the Power Commander right here. I'm going to quickly explain to you how this plugs up to the bike. Then we're going to take apart the motorcycle. I've never taken apart this bike before. This is all brand new to me. We've got a Edwina just up there who I've probably taken apart maybe 20 times. I've had her down to just engine and frame probably twice, and I've definitely had like the fuel tank off like an unbelievable amount of times. I've worked on like almost every single part of this motorcycle. I've had the forks out 3 times, you know, I've had the whole bike taken apart. But the MT10, while still having a whole bunch of R1 bloodline, it is completely foreign to me. It's a completely different motorcycle in terms of the parts and pieces that they use to put this thing together. So from what I can see under here, this is where we start. These two little push pins on the front of the tank, and this panel here will pop off, and then there might be some screws which hold on this part here, so we'll undo those, and then apparently these flop down, and then we should be able to access the tank. I'll take the seat off and there'll be some bolts under here, and then we'll have the airbox underneath that, which we'll need to take off, and then we should have access to the injector rail and the fuel rail, which will be just around here, somewhere down here. Shouldn't be hard to get to, but I've just never done it before. Anyway, I just want to quickly explain to you how this plugs up. So I've got the brains of the unit here, this is the Power Commander 5, and then we have over here on the wiring loom, we've got the ground. These two cables here will connect to the quick shifter, so the Power Commander knows what gear the motorcycle is in. Then we've got this here. These actually click in between the fuel injector and the ECU, basically. So I need to find the fuel injectors and plug these in line. This here connects to the ECU, the white wire of the ECU, and then we've got these wires here which power the whole unit, and I actually need to work out where these plug into. I don't know where they plug into at the moment. But anyway, the whole purpose of this thing is to adjust the fueling of the motorcycle. As you can see, I've attached the Akrapovic link pipe, and I've also got the Akrapovic titanium GP muffler on the bike. And what that's done without a tune is it's created a massive flat spot in the rev range. So in order to fix that, we need to adjust the fueling. Now there's a couple of ways to do that. You can use the Power Commander 5. You can have the ECU flashed. Now an ECU flash will give you more options. It's maybe a better option, but keep in mind this isn't a race bike. This is a bike that I use on the road. It's also a commuter motorcycle. A Power Commander 5 will do 99% of what I need it to do to get this bike up and running perfectly. Now at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that the Power Commander has 170 horsepower tune on here. It was tuned on a 2017 model motorcycle. Yes, this is a 2018. I've checked the DynoJet maps for the 2017, 18, 19, and 2020 Yamaha MT10, and they're all exactly the same. The tune for the Yamaha MT10 from factory has been exactly the same for the past 4 years. Even though this has a tune on it that was tuned on a different motorcycle, most engines that come out of factory, they won't be too different. I mean, there's not going to be a 10 horsepower difference out of a stock engine. Yeah, maybe 1 or 2 horsepower max. So this 170 horsepower tune should be pretty much spot on. The guy had it tuned on a 2017 model that had the exact same link pipe and muffler on the bike. I'm curious to see how this works. If it doesn't work, I'm just going to end up selling it, and then I'll go and get the ECU flashed instead. So real quick, I just want to quickly explain on a graph what the power curve looks like. So we're going to have the stock torque curve. It may look a little bit like this. Now after we've decatted the bike and installed the Akrapovic muffler and link pipe, we might have a little bit more power through the rev range, just a little bit, but then we've got that stupid flat spot that keeps messing with me here and here. So what we want to do ideally is try and smoothen this curve out with the tune. Now there's a claimed 170 horsepower tune. So stock for the Yamaha MT10 is 158. We probably have right now 160 with the exhaust on there. This is peak power, but we've lost some power in the middle of the rev range, which we need to fix. Let me show you ideal. Ideal would look like this, right? If we were in a perfect world, right? The torque curve would be so smooth. All right, that's what the torque curve would look like in an ideal world. This would make the bike feel like the power just keeps on going all the way through until the red line, and then the power will drop off. So you wouldn't have any flat spots. It would feel like the power is there constantly throughout the whole rev range. So with the 170 horsepower tune, they should have tuned the bike pretty close to that line. It won't be perfect, all right? It might look something like this, and they've got 170 horses claimed, right? And the big gains we're going to get aren't only at the top here, but the biggest gains we're going to get are here where these flat spots are. So we might have a 10 to 12 horsepower gain there. We may have a 8 to 10 horsepower gain there. I'm just giving you some general figures. These aren't concrete figures, but I'm just giving you an example of what the Power Commander and adjusting the fuel will do, right? So we're a lot closer to perfect now. We've smoothed out the flat spots, so we should feel the power all the way through the rev range. So in a nutshell, that's my understanding of what we're going to be doing here with the Power Commander. This is plug and play, so we should be able to get these results instantly as soon as we've plugged this thing up to the bike. I'm pretty excited because the motorcycle, since I bought it without the tune on the bike, it's been a bit hit and miss. Honestly, I haven't really enjoyed riding the motorcycle, mainly because of that flat spot and because the accelerator felt a little bit soggy. I mean, I was chasing the boys in the twisties a couple of weeks ago, and I remember I was sitting behind Jamie, one of my friends, and we were mid-corner. I powered on. I could hear the bike accelerating, but it wasn't going anywhere. And then I realized that it wasn't my bike that I could hear accelerating. It was actually Jamie's bike in front of me who was accelerating and taking off. And because of the flat spot, I was accelerating, but because I was right there at that flat spot in the rev range, my bike wasn't going anywhere. It was actually quite a dangerous situation. I'll roll the clip now. my bike was accelerating just then, and then I realised I was listening to Jamie's exhaust in front of me and my bike wasn't going anywhere. If you want to have another look, just rewind the video or skip back on the video and have a look for yourselves. But for me, the flat spot was most noticeable when I was out riding the bike in a spirited manner. So anyway, when I was thrashing the bike up in the twisties, that's when I most felt the flat spot on the motorcycle, and it makes the bike kind of unrideable. I mean, it sounds great, it looks great, but it definitely doesn't perform like you would expect an MT10 to. I mean, this is the cousin of the R1, and honestly, it's a bit of a letdown. So I'm hoping that this tune really fixes the bike up. All right, so without any further ado, let's start taking this bike apart. It's pretty easy. These things here are